Good morning, students. Students, today we will learn the first unit of your book named India, People and Economy. There is 3 chapters in this unit. First chapter is Population, Distribution, Density, Growth and Composition. The second chapter is Migration, its types and causes. And the third chapter is Human Development. So, let's start the first chapter named Population, Distribution, Density, Growth and Composition. To learn about population, firstly we have to understand what is population. We have to learn the definition of population. So, the number of people live in an area is called the population of that particular area. So, population means a group of people living in an area, in a unit of area. So, in the book named Fundamentals of Human Geography, we already read that China is the highest populated country in the world, and here India is the second most populated country in the world after China. So India is the second highest populated country in the world. The total population of India is 121 crore according to the census 2011. This huge population is responsible for many socio-economic and also political problems. Though we know that population of a country is the strength of that country, but if the population is very high, there many problems may be arise, like socio-economic problems, political problems, environmental problems. Next, have a look about the distribution of population in India. In India, the distribution of population is very uneven. Like the states of Maharashtra, Bihar, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh have high population concentration, and Uttar Pradesh is the highest populated state in our country. If we see that the population of Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Bihar, West Bengal and Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, Karnataka and Gujarat, the 76% of the total population is occupied by these states. Next, the causes of this type of uneven distribution of population. What are the main factors that influences this type of uneven distribution of population? First is physical. What are the physical factors? The main physical factors that influences the uneven distribution of population is terrain, climate, soil and availability of water. Firstly, terrain. In India, there is different type of terrain in different areas of our country. Like in the northern areas, we see that there is Himalayan mountain, and the southern part of India is occupied by totally plateau area, and the middle part of India is occupied by Gangetic plain, and the western part of India is occupied by desert areas, and the total northeastern part of India is in the hilly areas. So in the hilly areas, in the desert areas, there is very minimum population. Minimum people lives in that areas, as there is no accessibility, very less accessibility and other obstacles. If we see the plain areas, the more people concentrate there, more population lives there, more people lives in that areas. So population density is also high in the plain areas. Secondly, the climate. Climate influences the distribution of population very much. The favorable climate, people also every time people wants to live in in a favorable climate. In the extreme climate, in the areas having extreme climate, there is minimum population in India. Like in the desert areas, in the winter season there is very cool, or in the hilly areas, in the winter season it is very cold, and in the extreme, where the extreme climate exists, in winter season it is too cold, and in the summer season it is too hot. So extreme climate, the areas having extreme climate has very little population. The third factor that influences the uneven distribution of population is soil. People wants to live in those areas where the soil is fertile. Why? In the fertile soil, there is availability of land for agriculture. So in the fertile soil areas, the population concentration is very high. The fourth factor that influences the uneven distribution of population is availability of water. Where the drinking water is available, the population concentration will be very high, and where the drinking water is not available, the population concentration will be low. If we see the economic factors, there is three factors. Firstly, industrialization. More people live in those areas where there is many industries. So industrialization is one of the most influencing factor for the uneven distribution of population. Next is the accessibility, that means transport and communication. The well-developed transport and communication system attracts people very much. So where the accessibility is very high, the more and more people concentrate there to live. Last, the employment. Employment is one of the most important factor of uneven distribution of population. People live in those areas where they can do job, they can earn some money, and employment attracts the people in those areas. So employment causes where employment is available, and the more and more population live there. Next, the social factors. Peace. Firstly, peace influences the uneven distribution of population very much. People do not like to live in those areas where there is very much conflict. People want to live a peaceful life. So it is very important for population concentration is the peace. Number 2 is stability of government. The development of an area is wholly dependent on the stability of government. If the government frequently change, so the strategies of different governments also changes with them. So the development work is stopped. So to develop a country, a stable government is necessary. So where the government is stable, more and more people live in that areas. Lastly, the historical factors. Colonization. Colonization is very important factor for the uneven distribution of population. If we look the British colonies, we can see that the population concentration is very high in that colonial areas. So colonization also influences the uneven distribution of population. Next, what is population density? Population density is number of people live in a unit area. So population density is calculated by the total population divided by total area. The population density of India is 382 persons per square kilometer according to 2011 census. So it is called, when we divide the total population by total area, it is called the arithmetic density of population. But this arithmetic population density cannot show the actual man-land ratio, because if a large area having very much potentiality, but there is minimum concentration of population, the population density will be low. But the it cannot show the proper man-land ratio. To show the actual man-land ratio, the other two types of population density may be calculated. Firstly, physiological density. It is calculated by total population divided by net cultivated area. So total population, to calculate the physiological density, total population should be divided by the net cultivated area. And the other calculation is agricultural density. To calculate the agricultural density, total agricultural population, those population who are related to agriculture only, they are divided by net cultivated area. That means total cultivated area in that particular state or that particular country. So agricultural density is total agricultural population, means population related to agriculture divided by total cultivated area, net cultivated area. Let's have a look on the distribution of population density. The state having the highest population density is Bihar according to census 2011. The population density of Bihar according to census 2011 is 1102. And the next state having the second highest population density is West Bengal. And the state having the lowest population density is Arunachal Pradesh. And the other states like Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, these are the medium densely populated states. Next, what is population growth? Population growth is the change in number of people between 2 points of time. So population growth is the change of number of persons or change in population between 2 points of time. It may be positive change or it may be negative change. Positive change means the increase of population and the negative change means the decrease of population. Population growth can be calculated by decadal or by annual. Decadal growth rate is calculated by the formula P2 minus P1 divided by P1 into 100, where P2 equals to the population of the base year, P1 equals to the population of the base year, and P2 equals to the population of the present year. As for example, if we calculate the decadal growth rate of India from 2001 to 2011, the P1, that means population of the base area, is the population of the year 2001, and P2 is the population of the present year, that means the population of 2011, that is 121 crore, and the population of 2001 was 102 crore. So the total increase of population in 10 years was 19 crore, and these 19 crores should be divided by 102 crore, that was the population of 2001, that means P1, and then it should be further multiplied by 100 to calculate the percentage growth rate. That means growth rate, to calculate the growth rate we have to multiply with 100 to calculate the percentage. Decadal growth rate of India in 2011 census was 17.64%. So the annual growth rate will be 17.64% divided by 10, and it will be 1.764% in 2011 census. Next, the trend of population growth in India. There is 4 phases in the trend of population growth in India. The first phase, the time period was 1901 to 1921. This period shows the stagnant or stationary growth rate. In that time period, the both birth rate and death rate, that means mortality rate, was very high. Why the death rate was very high? Poverty, illiteracy, malnutrition, lack of health facility, these factors causes the high mortality rate. So the population growth was stationary in this time period, in this phase. Next, phase 2. This phase starts from since 1921 and ends in 1951. This time period shows the steady growth of population. Why? Because the death rate was slowed down in that time period, but the birth rate was still high. So the increase of population, steady increase of population could be seen in this time period. In this time period, there is improvement in transport and communication sector, in health facility and sanitation, and also in education. So in this time period, steady growth of population can be seen. But in that time period, particularly in 1929, there is a great economic depression in India, and in 1942, we know that the World War II was happened. So these two, in spite of these two tragic incidents, the steady growth of population can be seen in this time period because of improvement in transport, communication, health facility and sanitation. Next phase is phase 3. In the time period of phase 3 was 1951 to 1981. In that phase, we can see that the rapid growth of population. See the rapid growth of population. In this time period, rapid fall of mortality rate. This time period shows the rapid fall of mortality rate, but the fertility rate was still high. And with this, incoming of refugees from Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Tibet also causes the rapid growth of population. The growth rate of 1981 was 24.66%, a decadal growth rate. So it is very high growth. It was very high growth rate in 1981, and we know that this growth rate is declined to 17.64% in 2011. Phase 4. Phase 4, the time period of phase 4 was 1981 to present. That means till now. In this time period, in this phase, the growth rate gradually slows down. Why? The main cause is fall of birth rate. So birth rate and death rate both were both is low. So the population growth rate slowly gradually declines in this time period. The projected population by 2025 will be 135 crore. So in 2025 we expect that the population will be 135 crore. Next, take a look about the on the regional variation of population growth. The states of Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Pondicherry, Goa show the minimum growth rate. The lowest growth rate is in Kerala, that is 9.4%. And the states of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Sikkim, Assam, West Bengal, Bihar, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand show the high or maximum growth rate, high growth rate, that is above 20 to 25% decadal growth rate. The share of adolescent population 10 to 19 years is about 22%, and the growth rate of adolescent population, that means adolescent population means the population in the age group of 10 to 19 years. The growth rate of adolescent population is about 22%. Among these, the male growth rate of male adolescent is 53% and female adolescent is 47%. The high growth rate in the age group of in the adolescent population causes many problems arises for this high adolescent growth rate. These problems are lower age at marriage, illiteracy, school dropout, malnutrition, high infant mortality, high maternal mortality, high HIV/AIDS rate, high alcoholism and high crime rate. All these problems arise with the high adolescent growth rate. To fight against these problems, the government of India takes many projects. The two projects are mentioned here. The National Youth Policy. Why this project was taken? This project was taken to empower the youth of the country to achieve their full potential and through them enable India to find its rightful place in the community of nation. And the second project was the National Policy for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. This project was taken to provide an umbrella framework to all skilling activities being carried out within the country and to align these to common standards and link skilling with demand centers. Next, population composition. Population composition means the structure of population. Here many types of population composition in India, that is rural urban composition, working composition, linguistic composition, religious composition. Firstly, we will discuss about the rural urban composition. The total rural population, the share of rural population is 68.8% in India. The states of Bihar and Sikkim have the high rural population. The states of Goa, Maharashtra have the low rural population. The Dadra Nagar Haveli, there is high percentage of rural population among the union territories. The size of village varies in hilly areas less than 200%. That means the villages of hilly areas have the population of less than 200%. But in some parts of Maharashtra and Kerala, there is 7,000 people in a village. Acceleration of urbanization due to enhanced economic development and improvement in health and hygiene conditions. In nowadays, the urbanization is gradually increasing. This is only for economic development and improvement in health and hygiene conditions. Degree of urbanization is very high in the industrial areas like Kolkata, Mumbai, Bangalore, Mysore, Madurai, Coimbatore, Surat, Delhi, Kanpur, Ludhiana and Jalandhar. And the degree of low urbanization is found in Telangana, non-irrigated western Rajasthan, flood-prone areas, eastern part of MP. Next, have a look to the linguistic composition of India. There are 179 languages according to Linguistic Survey of India in 1903 and 544 dialects in India. There is 22 scheduled languages in India. Hindi speaking persons is the share of Hindi speaking population is highest in India, that is 40.4%, and lowest share Kashmiri and Sanskrit have the lowest share of population. The languages gradually merge and overlap in their respective border zones. That means there is no strict limitation, no strict boundary between the two language areas. It can be merged or overlap upon one another. If we see the classification of modern Indian languages, there is 4 families in India, 4 linguistic family in India. They are Austric, Dravidian, Sino-Tibetan, Indo-European. They have many subfamilies. Austric family have 2 subfamilies, Austro-Asiatic, Austronesian. The Sino-Tibetan is Tibeto-Myanmari and same is Chinese. And the Indo-European family have a subfamily of Indo-Aryan. If we see the table, you will know the areas of different type of language families. Next, the religious composition. Religion influenced the socio-cultural and political field in India very much. The major religious group in India is Hindu, which shares 79.8% of total Indian population. The major religious minority group is Muslim, which shares 14.2% population, and the most Muslim population is concentrated in Jammu and Kashmir, West Bengal, Kerala, around Delhi and Lakshadweep. Mainly the border areas of Jammu and Kashmir, Rajasthan, West Bengal, etc. The Christian population mainly concentrated in rural areas of western coast, Goa, Kerala and the states of northeast, the hilly states of northeast. The Sikhs are mainly concentrated in Punjab, Haryana. Jains are concentrated in urban areas of Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Buddhists are mainly concentrated in Maharashtra, Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh. If we take a look at the working composition of India, there is 2 types of workers, the main workers and the marginal workers. The workers who works at least 183 days in a year are called main workers, and who works less than 183 working days are called marginal workers. In India, the proportion of workers is 39% and 69% of the total population are non-worker. The lower proportion of working population is in Goa, that is 25%, and the highest proportion of working population is in Mizoram, that is 53%. The high percentage of workers are mainly concentrated in Himachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Chhattisgarh, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Nagaland, Manipur and Meghalaya. In Union Territories of Dadra and Nagar Haveli have the higher proportion of workers. In India, 58.2% of the total population works in the works as agricultural laborers. The 4.2% of the population of the total workers are working in household industries, and 37.6% are in the sector of other workers. If we take a look on gender-wise working composition, we can see that number of female workers is very high in